welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I am the DJ, and with me today I have the Professor.
Hello, DJ. How are you today?
Going good, going good. Is it me or the weather is getting a bit clammy?
Well, we're going into winter, so, that thing kind of tends to happen.
Yeah, but then winter normally the coldness starts around winter, no? But now it's getting winter is sort of getting colder, and it's not even winter yet. It's just near end of autumn.
Honestly, it kind of snuck up on me too. Last week, I went outside and I was like, why is the sun going down at 6? No, at 5:30. I could have sworn last week it didn't go down until it was 7.
Oh, I will say this sleeping has been tougher now with the cold and all.
I like it.
I know you will. Anyways, so let's start with the Oscars and the Razzies. So the award ceremonies happened the other day. First it was the Razzies, and some of the winners are very interesting. The worst picture went to Absolute Proof, which is a documentary movie about from the CEO of MyPillow, Mr. Mike Lindell, and the movie is about an expose exposing the baseless claims of election fraud and the theft of America by enemies, foreign and domestic.
Wow, he makes it sound so dramatic.
The top trivia point on this movie, it says One American News Network included the disclaimer for the film before it aired, and here's what it said. Mike James Lindell purchased the airtime for the broadcast of this program on One America Network. Mr. Lindell is the sole author and executive producer of this program and is solely and exclusively responsible for its content. The topic of this broadcast is the 2020 election. OAN has undertaken its own reporting on this topic. This program is not the product of OAN's reporting.
Wow, so he's even too crazy for OAN. Actually, I vaguely remember OAN might have gotten in trouble for making unsubstantiated claims, so they might have had to do that for legal reasons. But kind of hard to believe that anyone's too crazy for One American News.
So, help me out here. So, One American News, they're like Fox News?
Fox News on steroids.
Really?
It's where you go when Fox News isn't crazy enough for you. It's like you take Fox News and Alex Jones and all of the crazy conspiracies, roll them up in a big ball, and that's One American News.
Damn. So Mike Lindell also won the best actor, worst actor of all. And the funny part is the judges really didn't like Lindell, with the Razzies website dubbing his film a 2-hour fake news snooze fest. The worst actress goes to Kate Hudson for her role in the Sia directed movie and music. And man, that was a very controversial film. Even though it won Best Motion Picture on the Golden Globes, it was heavily criticized for its portrayal of autism and casting a neurotypical person as someone with autism.
I can kind of understand why they pick someone who's not autistic, though. It's kind of a thing about autism. You're not going to be the best actor.
Yeah, but then it takes away the whole idea of, okay, because earlier in the years, everyone was clamoring for representation and stuff, and then we got the representation, and now...
Yeah, I mean, it does suck that it's not played by an autistic person, but at the same time, I don't think there's a lot of autistic people who are in acting.
I mean, we could find someone, but then, yeah, you're right, it is kind of like looking in the needle in a haystack on this. So, moving along, so worst supporting actress goes to Maddie Ziegler.
Actually, I did actually have a look. Apparently, Woody Allen is possibly autistic. Dan Aykroyd, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's people in... apparently, there's people in the movie industry who have Asperger's or autism.
Okay.
I suppose, though, my first thought is, well, of course... person with Asperger's isn't going to act, or a person with autism isn't going to act well in a movie role because of the limitations of the condition. But on the other hand, they are playing a character with autism, so they could just play themselves.
Yeah.
So, I don't know the full context here, though.
Fair enough.
But I do see, I do completely understand why people are unhappy about it.
Yeah.
I just felt like it's not an easy problem to solve, but it might actually be easier than I thought.
I mean, like I said, it does create this whole confusion of the representation debate on it. But yeah, so worst supporting actress goes to Maddie Ziegler. She was the girl who dances in a couple of Sia music videos. For those curious, worst supporting actor goes to Rudy Giuliani.
So, one second. This Sia movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie directed by Sia?
Yep.
Or is it okay.
It's directed by Sia.
So it's not like it's her music video, though. It's an actual proper movie.
It's an actual full-blown movie, yeah.
What has she done in movies before being a director? I don't follow her, but I've never heard of her in association with movies, so, why would they think she could just immediately go out and direct a movie?
Like, I'm looking at her filmography, and she basically wrote and performed songs on a couple of soundtracks. Her film roles are basically cameos, voice, documentary narration, and that's it.
Do you have any examples of those characters, though? Anyone I might recognize?
Okay, let's see. For My Little Pony, the movie, she was Songbird Serenade. In the 2018 Peter Rabbit movie, she was Mrs. Tiggy Winkle.
Okay, so yeah, she has been around, but not in anything that's like big.
Yeah.
Like all side characters and stuff.
Yeah, there's side characters and voice, but then like biggest claim to fame would mostly be like, I mean, first, like, good on her, but anyway, so worst supporting actor goes to Rudy Giuliani, and his performance in the Borat 2 movie was
Well, he's not performing though, is he? Like,
he wasn't really.
Just goes in and films people's responses to his antics, doesn't he?
Yeah, basically. Which also earned Rudy Giuliani the worst screen combo. Rudy Giuliani and his pants zipper, where it's basically the part where he's unknowingly filmed while in a compromising position in a hotel room with a young actress who's pretending to be a reporter.
Oh no.
Mr. Giuliani had denied any wrongdoing, calling the scene a complete fabrication. He says he was tucking his shirt in after taking off the recording equipment, as he claimed.
Taking off the recording equipment in front of the actor who's filming you. Yeah. Although, kind of surprised Rudy Giuliani didn't also get worst soundtrack for the time he farted on live television.
No, I don't want to be reminded. No, my mental image. So moving along. So Sia got the worst director, basically for that movie. Like it got so bad. Apparently, an online petition was made called "Cancel the film music," which attracted 30,000 signatures, and the petitions it created said, "As an autistic individual, I'm asking that the film is cancelled. It is extremely offensive to myself and other autistic individuals. Sia has shown no remorse for her inaccurate and hurtful betrayal of the community." Sia has defended the film, writing, "This movie is a love letter to everyone who has ever felt they didn't have a voice," in a post on Instagram when music was nominated for a Golden Globe. Okay,
does she have autism though?
I don't think she has, but there hasn't been any evidence though. That's the thing. No, I don't think she has autism.
Yeah. I wonder what she thought she was getting into there.
I think she was just like, oh, I felt like creating something, and yeah.
Oh man. She's got the lyric, "In my dreams, my body does not control me." That's not That's not how autism works.
I'm looking through the production of the film on Wikipedia. Here's something interesting. So after creating the music video for Chandelier, that's a guys, the chandelier.
I'm quite happy you might cut some of that out. Check my hearing.
Okay, so in 2014, so she had decided that she was pretty good at directing and felt a little braver.
Oh no! Don't just dive in. Do a short film or something first. Do an indie project. Don't just.
And then later on, she goes, she enjoyed the creative process and noted similarities between directing and writing songs, saying, "For me, the process was basically I work out the movie, I'll act it out, I'll have the dialogue ready in my head. I can't be bothered to learn final draft. Like, when I sing, I just want to sing the melody and write the lyrics. I don't want to have to do production, which is very technical. I don't enjoy that."
But half of the director's job is to do production. Like, I know they have producers, but it's also the director's job. That's why we have the director's cut. Because the director isn't just getting it on film. They also decide what goes and what doesn't.
Here's another interesting fact. She told Rolling Stone Australia, "The making of the film was fun, but the editing portion actually made me sick. I had an illness and severe pain, and I couldn't seem to find the right editor, someone who understood the magic I was trying to make happen."
Okay, she's starting to sound a bit like a diva.
Oh man, yeah. That why does it remind me of that? The guy from The Room. Oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau. That's the one. So after the
You're tearing me apart, Sia.
You're tearing me. No. Oh god. Oh man. So after the Razzies were finished, the Oscars came along, and boy, wasn't that a show in itself?
I don't know. I wasn't watching like most people.
I know. I had the unfortunate duty of looking at the highlights, and some of the highlights were just, what the hell, man? Like, for example, awkward audience engagement, for example. So there was a big final 3 awards that were handed out at the end, which had been quite a serious event, so naturally it'd be a perfect time to ask for some improvised music-based trivia. One comedian stalked the Hollywood Union Station A-lister venue seeking out contestants to guess the song's Oscar history. It led to a cringy karaoke moment with Andre Day, who was nominated for Best Actress for playing Billie Holiday.
Okay.
Then in what some might say saved the night, Glenn Close proved Lil Ray wrong by showing off her impressive knowledge of twerking.
Okay.
So apparently,
that sounds bad.
Yeah, a 74-year-old woman twerking. That's yeah, all right, buddy. What else was there? There was long.
Well, what about the viewership?
I'll get to that. There was also long speeches, and then there was also
there's long speeches every year.
Then there was one about some actor thanking his parents for giving him life in the acceptance speech. Where him quoting, "My mom and dad, they had sex. It's amazing. I'm here." Do you know what I mean?
It would have cost him nothing.
And the biggest fun part was Anthony Hopkins winning the Best Actor award, but didn't do the interview because apparently the directors didn't want to do a Zoom call. But out of all the stupidity that happened in the Oscars, results came out on the viewership, and it went down, really, really down.
I say, weren't they like not wearing masks? I remember they specifically said no masks or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard so too, but I could be they're wrong, but
Which seems really silly. You should be setting a good example, people.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's almost as cringy as when Kim Kardashian's like, I took my best friends to an island so we could pretend it's normal. Or the celebrity singing Imagine.
Oh no! Oh, don't get me started on that shit.
Do you want us to think you're all old and out of touch or not?
Oh, so here are the numbers for you. So the numbers for this year's Oscars was 9.85 million viewers turned on to watch the show. And that's a drop from 13.75 million viewers that watched it last year.
Oh dear. I completely understand though. Nobody really saw any movies this year, so
I mean, I get that, but this is like last year and this year. This should be at their element. Like it's to entertain people, not to berate people nowadays. It's no secret. Like the people have been struggling to get a job and making ends meet and stuff. But there's no escapism anymore in the cinemas. Like back then,
why would you want to watch the Oscars? Like, forget about the cinemas. Nothing came out last year anyway, so nobody went to see anything. But forget about the cinemas. Why would you want to watch hours of famous people getting awards when you can read it all in one article in a couple of minutes the next morning?
Because back then, like before the internet became a thing, we used to watch the Oscars as like, oh yeah, who would win the best movie, best actor and stuff.
And now you don't need to watch the Oscars. You can get it all in an article the next day.
Yeah, that's true. Here's an interesting thing though. Back then, any film that was to win the best picture was something that the Hollywood directors and executives would pay attention to. It was like a barometer to where the direction Hollywood was going, in a sense. That's why people loved the Oscars. Like there was always the fashion, the glitz, the glamour, like betting on who would win.
People don't care about that anymore.
Yeah, people don't care about it anymore because it's now basically belittling it. Every Oscars, it's now belittling modern culture. More and more people are just using the time on the podium to push a political opinion and comment on a social issue of the day, and get cheap applause by saying this politician sucks. That's it.
Well, politics affects movies as well.
Yeah, it does affect movie as well, but then you don't have to like push it down to our damn throats like like you're choking someone with a piece of bread going, eat this piece of bread. Eat it. I want you to eat the bread and like it because I say so.
I just don't care about the Oscars, and I think it's not that people don't like being preached to. I think people just don't care about rich people getting awards.
Oh yeah.
You know, why would you watch the Oscars? You're not connected to these people. You're not going to see your nephew run up on stage and be like, oh, look, it's little Jimmy. You're just going to see some famous person who you have no connection to win an award for a movie that you didn't see because the cinemas have been closed all year. So why would anyone watch it? I don't think it's anything like that, like you think it is at all.
Yeah. As I said, like back in the younger days, we used to love that shit. Now it's just, yeah.
You're getting old, DJ.
I know.
That's your problem. It's not the Oscars, it's you.
Shady! Remember that time? But the point I'm trying to make is that the entire industry is made up of is made to entertain the paying customer, not to be berated, but not to berate people on how to live their lives and tell them who to follow, what group, or condemn them. And now
famous people have used their position as famous people to push agendas forever.
Yeah.
It's not, you think this is some new thing. It's not.
It's not a new thing. I agree. I agree with you there. But it's just now it's just becoming more overt than.
No, it's
anything.
not becoming more overt. It's been like this forever.
Okay. Okay. We'll have to agree to disagree on this one. How about that? But yeah, I just hope
Charlton Heston is going on about people taking guns from his cold, dead hands like a few decades ago.
I didn't say that in the middle of the Oscars, though, did he?
I don't think so.
No, he didn't actually. But if he did, it'd be hilarious. Though. I mean, look at.
It's a slogan from 1976. performed by Charlton Heston in 2000. So that was 20 years ago. People, celebrities getting up and making political statements. This isn't new.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't see, like, give an example. Leonardo DiCaprio, how when he won the Oscar award for Best Actor, he kept on talking about climate change and how it's a prevalent problem and stuff. Yet there he goes, and he's flying in a jet airliner.
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
That's the problem. It's like, yeah, these celebrities are all berating at us, going like, "Oh, we must think about
then
the
berate them, DJ. Berate the celebrities." If you're not happy about it, you go and fix it.
Yes, I shall, with my wallet. I shall vote with my wallet.
You know what happened when the celebrities did the Imagine thing? Everybody said, "You're idiots." And you know what they did? They went away.
There you go, point there. But yeah, I think I hope they learn their lesson, but I doubt they will learn their lesson. But only time will tell.
Here we go. I found an article from Vogue, the 16 most political moments in Oscars history.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, let's have a look. 1940. 1940, first black actor to win an Oscar for supporting actress in Gone with the Wind. Which doesn't seem to have specifically said anything there. 1973, Marlon Brando invited a Native American to refuse his Best Actor award for The Godfather so that she could go up there and make a speech about the treatment of American Indians in the film industry. 1975, Vietnam War protests. So it's not new, DJ. You're acting like this is new, but it's been going on for decades.
I mean, okay, you got me there. Okay, you got me there. But my point still stands. It's just, it's just losing that.
No, it doesn't. You don't want to listen to celebrities talk about political stuff. Don't listen to them.
I will never listen to them. Damn it!
Turn off the TV, go outside, and stop listening.
Anyways, so moving on. So, Professor, you've got a story about 505 games and how much drama they're in.
Well, they're in a little bit of trouble, just a little bit. Have you played the game Control?
I've seen the videos of it, but I haven't played it. No.
Well, it's made by Remedy Entertainment, who are a Finnish developer. Actually, we've spoken about their founders before, who came from the demo scene.
Okay.
Well, Remedy's got a bit of a history of having issues with their publishers.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But the latest in the long parade of publisher issues is 505 Games. It seems to be coming from 505, not Remedy. And I really hope that it's 505 doing it, not Remedy, because I love Remedy's games, and I'd be really annoyed if Remedy are the ones doing the stuff around. But a month or two ago, Humble Bundle had Control, just the standard edition, no DLC. For that, 505 released a special edition of the game. Apparently, the version available on Steam only had... there was only like the director's cut version for the DLC, I think, because it was an exclusive before it came to Steam. So I've now got it on Steam because it came up in Humble Bundle. What are they calling it now? Humble Choice? The monthly subscription where you get, the 5 games from a selection. Anyway, 505 created a special standard edition minus the DLCs for this Humble Bundle release. Now, without any warning, they've decided to take the DLCs off the market, so you can no longer buy the DLCs to upgrade your copy of Control to the full Director's Cut edition. You have to buy the Director's Cut edition separately.
No.
Yeah.
This is like the whole game preservation fiasco we had last week, isn't it?
Yeah, and this isn't the only thing that 505 have done that seems to be trying to sabotage the game. So there's a Reddit comment by Batman the Merciless. So there wasn't a whole lot of marketing. There was no free upgrade to next gen while the game was still actively supported. So the second DLC hadn't even come out yet when they announced there would be no free upgrade to next gen, which, it takes work to upgrade to next gen, but a lot of developers did anyway. They released a free next gen patch. because if they've released on PC, a lot of the functionality is already there. So no marketing, have to pay extra for an upgrade, and now making it difficult to buy the Ultimate Edition on Steam. So they basically invented the standard edition for Humble Monthly just so that they could not give you all the DLCs in Humble Monthly, and then decided for some reason, no, you can't upgrade it. Why are they doing this?
Unless if they have something like new DLC and trying to limit the other DLC just to go, okay, we're going to combine every single one of these old DLCs.
There's no new DLC. The only way to get the DLC now is to buy Ultimate Edition.
What about Steam? Can't you buy the separate ones through Steam as well? Or is it
no,
just
that's Ultimate? How they've completely taken it off Steam. The only way to get the DLC now, if you got it through Humble Monthly, is to get it from the Humble store. And we don't know how long that's going to last. With any luck, it will go forever. But there's, Humble hasn't made any statement about it. The 505 haven't. So right now, the only place to buy the standard edition and be able to upgrade the DLC seems to be Humble Store or Epic Store. The only way for Humble Monthly subscribers, Humble Store. It's one of those things that, they're making it hard for no apparent good reason, apart from greed, maybe? I do note, I did pull up the Control Season Pass on Humble Store just now to grab a link for it. It is on sale for 50% off right now for the rest of the month. So I don't see anything there saying that they... I don't see anything there explaining the situation, but it is 50% off for the next 3 weeks.
From a game developer standpoint, how do you see this?
I really want to know what's going on. Like, is it 505? Is it Remedy? Who's made this decision? Who's behind it, really?
I mean, it could. I mean, responsible. Oh, sorry. I think normally it would come down to the publishers, or it would come down to the developers that would go like, hey, we kind of messed up, or the publishers, but like I would say 505 would have to answer for this affront in a certain sense.
I think it's probably 505's decision. So I haven't seen any statement. I'd like to see a statement from them about why it happened. If they came up with some bullshit, it's a licensing issue or something, I could understand that, but I can't understand why they're doing it and not making any public statement. There wasn't any warning that they do this. When Alan Wake was pulled from Steam for licensing issues, fortunately it came back again a few weeks later, but there's a lot of licensed music in Alan Wake, and I think that a couple of years back now, when the licensing expired, they took it down from the store. But before that, Remedy, who published Alan Wake with Microsoft, made the decision to announce it and give everyone the chance to get the game really cheaply for a week or two.
Yeah, I remember it was when it came out on Steam, it was a very steal.
Oh yeah, it was cheap when it first launched on Steam as well. If I remember correctly. It's been a while since I bought it on Steam though, so I don't remember what it was.
Do you reckon this is all in timing with Control being released on the Nintendo Switch?
I don't know. Has it just come out on Switch at the moment?
Yeah, they said when they I think they announced it a couple weeks back. They would actually it came out last year on Nintendo Switch, 30th of October.
No, it's just a really wacky decision because it feels like they're taking the ability to pay for the content away from a bunch of people who have just got the base game and would be likely to pay for the DLC. So maybe they think people will buy the Ultimate Edition, but maybe they...
I mean, let's be real though. How many versions of Control are there right now? There's only one version, which is the usual version. Then there's the Ultimate Edition. Then I'm just looking at it. There is the Control Ultimate Edition Cloud version.
Okay, I haven't heard of that. Is that where's that available?
That's on the Switch, mind you.
Okay, Control Ultimate Cloud Edition.
The Ultimate Edition Cloud, yeah.
Oh, it's No, Control Cloud Edition is like knockoff Stadia. It's another. So the Switch version of Control isn't even ported to Switch properly. It's actually just basically Stadia. So when you who's going to keep those servers up? Are people who buy Control Cloud Edition going to lose access to it in another couple of years?
Yeah. Could you see this? Okay, this may sound a bit doomsday, but could you see this happening with future games in this sort of level of marketing and stuff?
Well, I definitely expect it from 505 in the future. The interviews I've seen of people from Remedy, I don't think Remedy are into messing people around. The people at Remedy seem very passionate about their work and letting people enjoy it. And I think so. Either they've got better PR or I'm just picking up on this wrong.
I mean, we've seen game companies do this sort of behavior like years for years now. I mean, you look at EA, for example, and PlayStation recently.
What have they done?
Was it EA recently doing with the loot boxes, and why are they forcing people to do it?
Oh, you mean EA, the publisher, forcing developers to put loot boxes in?
Yeah.
Yeah, publishers have a lot of power, I think. There's indie publishing, of course, but a lot of developers partner with the publisher because the publisher pays their salary until the game gets released. It's just kind of the nature of being in an industry like this. You have to coast between releases on whatever you made from the release because most games sell the majority of their copies in the first couple of weeks after release. So once you've released the game, you then get a huge inflow of money and need to develop another game and hope that it's successful. But so Remedy would partner with 505 in this case because 505 would be able to help guarantee some income for them. I think the solution, though, to publishers pulling dodgy deals like this is a publisher co-op. A group of developers would get together and form a co-op or collective where revenue is split between the developers, but because there's a game coming out every month or so rather than a game every year or 18 months for a single developer, the revenue... there's less of a concern about where you're going to get money from to fund development of your next game.
Yeah, but aren't like areas like Steam and Epic Game Store, for example, examples of a co-op in a sense?
No. Steam and Epic Game Store are all very... Steam in particular seemed very open to indie developers. Epic is interested in buying them out for exclusives. But before Epic, Steam had, green light to get indie games on the platform. So Steam made it easy for indie games to be self-published. Sure, they take a cut from your sales on the platform, but they're not really doing anything other than distribution. Most of the advertising outside of the Steam store is your own. Whereas Epic Games seem to be buying indie developers' exclusive games and then helping with the marketing.
I mean,
whereas what I'm thinking of in terms of the publisher co-op would be a publisher group of developers publishing together, but would split the marketing and all of that across the whole team. And ideally, by having it in co-op format, the developers wouldn't be pressured to do things like microtransactions, because it's not just, make us more money or we end the contract. Hopefully it would be able to work around that sort of thing. I'm not an expert in, co-ops or anything though, so I don't think I'd be able to pull that off.
So this whole thing, this is going to be very consequential to the game developers world, in your opinion?
No? I think it's just another example of a publisher pulling some dodgy deal that, this is bad PR for Remedy. If they don't have anything to do with this, it's just bad PR for them.
Okay.
It makes them look bad because people don't think 505 when they see Control. They think Remedy, especially since Control is tied into Alan Wake and Quantum Break. Curiously,
how would let's say with this publishing co-op was to spring up? How do you reckon it will help the games workers? Or you reckon it will? Do you reckon it will give them an advantage or disadvantage?
My utopian vision for that would be the games workers, it would have to help the games workers. They'd have to be, sort of my utopian vision would be requirements to minimize crunch and other practices that harm your developers.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my utopian vision. Realistically, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And ideally also having a more equal distribution of power between, rather than having a figurehead publisher, but a distribution of power between the developers in the co-op. Ideally, that would be a way to make sure that no one's being ripped off.
That's fair. So, in the interest of time, we should move on. So finally, for our science topic, you've got a story about a black hole, which is a unicorn?
A teeny tiny unicorn. It's a very small baby black hole.
Wait, when you say small baby, teeny tiny baby black hole, how small are we saying?
I'll just double check that. I had the bloody page open, but now it's not loading. 3 times the mass of the sun.
Man, that's
pretty small for a black hole. And it's also the closest black hole to Earth. It's 1,500 light years away. The problem is black holes are hard to find. You can't look at a black hole. You kind of got to look for the effects of the black hole. So in this case, they discovered it because they noticed an oddness in a fluctuation in another star.
Oh, that's gonna be that's scary though. Like when you see a black hole very close to Earth.
Well, close is relative. 1,500 light years is a pretty long way away. It's just close on a cosmic scale.
And if I recall, and if my astronomy knowledge is rusty here, aren't black holes basically the death of a star?
Yeah, so when you gather enough mass in one spot, physics gets a bit wibbly and it forms what's referred to as a singularity. Basically, all of this mass concentrated in one spot is so much gravitational pull that even light can't go away from it. So it is a potential ending for supermassive stars. Or in this case, possibly a star that's not all that big. On the other hand, black holes do slowly evaporate, so it could have been a very big black hole that's gotten smaller and just happens to be caught in an orbit with this red giant. They
said here the nickname has a double meaning. Not only does the black hole candidate reside in the constellation Monoceros, its incredibly low mass, about 3 times that of the sun, makes it one of a kind. So the team leader,
Monoceros, to be clear, means the unicorn. Yeah, so they named it the unicorn because it's such a special black hole. And I just had to pull up an article and refresh my memory. So a black hole forms inside a star. You can have tons of mass in a star, more mass than a black hole. So there are stars that are significantly bigger than this, but they don't turn into black holes at the moment because they are still stars. That's awkwardly worded, but the radiation has a very small pressure. It's a tiny amount of pressure, but the reactions at the core of the star keep the outer layers of the star from collapsing in and forming the black hole by pressing it out. When the star runs out of fuel and can't produce enough radiation to keep itself inflated anymore, it starts to collapse into a black hole.
I like how Tharinder Jayasinghe, the team leader, says, the star system is so unique, so weird, it's definitely warranted the nickname the unicorn.
Yeah, it's not often you find a black hole that small orbiting a red giant. And that's how they noticed it, because they saw the tug of the black hole on the red giant. So, they could have completely missed it. If this was out in interstellar space, they might never have found it.
I'm surprised it hasn't sucked the sun, but...
It is. It's working on it.
Yeah. So they're saying here the unicorn has a companion, a bloated red giant star that's nearing the end of its life. The companion has been observed by a variety of instruments over the years, including the All-Sky Automated Survey and NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite. the red giant's light sight shifts in intensity periodically, suggesting that another object is tugging on the star and changing its shape. They determine that the object doing the tugging is likely a black hole. So
what's interesting though is this a captive black hole? Did it come from somewhere else and get gravitationally slingshotted over and then caught by this star, or vice versa? Did the star come from somewhere else? Or did they naturally form as binary stars and then one collapsed into a black hole? Because there's another case. There's a binary star where one is a dwarf star and it sucks, like it's constantly sucking material away from the other star.
But then a captive black hole, wouldn't that, if that was the case, then like let's say for example the sun, if that was a black hole, if that turns into a black hole, then wouldn't that be sucking our planets up?
No, we would not notice a difference. If you replaced our sun with a black hole of equal mass, the only thing that would happen is we'd get very cold and it would go dark.
Oh, yeah.
So we are in a stable orbit around the sun where, apart from minor orbital effects allowing us to drift closer or further away, mostly further away, our orbit doesn't change on any significant, human scale lifespan.
What's going to be interesting is now they've made this discovery, there's going to be so much more research on this.
Yeah, start looking into other stars to fluctuate. So the thing is that they already look at fluctuating stars looking for planets. So if you're looking at a star and you notice that once every now and then it goes dim, you can use that to infer that there's a planet there and then double check with other instruments and do other research and find out, the planets there. You can do a whole lot of really interesting research and find out what the planet's made out of, what gases are in its atmosphere, all sorts of cool stuff just by looking at how it looks when it transits a star, which of course means it's difficult to spot planets that don't transit a star. But in this case, it's an explanation for any stars that dim but don't have an identified transiting planet. It could also spark some research into the physical limitations of black holes. How did this one form? How many others are out there that are this size? Where do they come from? Where do they go, Cotton Eye Joe?
I'm going to be interested. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe Christopher Nolan can make another black hole related movie like he did the last time.
Yeah, the last time was a very big black hole.
So anyways, we'll be back with our sponsors and we'll be talking about nerdful things, shout outs, famous birthdays, remembrances, and events of interest. So, Professor, what nerdful thing have you done?
I watched season 5 of Black Mirror.
Oh, yeah?
I somehow missed it when it originally came out, and I think it's not as good as the first 4 seasons.
When did the new season came out?
I'm not sure. 2019, I think? Yeah, June 2019.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, the writer has said that he doesn't think he'll do anymore. He's got other projects he wants to work on, and they're still interesting episodes. I just don't think they're up to the same level as the other seasons.
From what I'm seeing here, he says that Brooker has in 2016, Brooker has ideas. Around January 2020, Brooker has announced a departure from the House of Tomorrow.
You're talking about Booker, not Brooker.
It is Brooker.
Is it?
Yeah, it is Brooker. So Brooker and Jones have announced a departure from the show's production company.
You're right. Apparently it is Brooker. Have I just Mandela affected myself? Or have I just confused myself?
Yep.
Probably confused myself.
So apparently Brooker have, in February 2020, they have established Broken Bones, a new production company, with having a 50% stake on it, and Netflix have arranged a long-term contract. So they're still in works, but they're unable to produce new additional seasons until new agreements were put in place. So
okay.
So they're still.
It does sound like he's working on something else now, so it might be a while.
Yeah,
which is fine. It's probably strongest when it's not overdone. But I never felt like I did watching the other seasons. A lot of the other seasons, I go away really thinking about the technology. And I think that's one of the things that this season lost. It was more about the action than the impact of the technology.
Okay.
So there's 3 episodes. The weirdest one is the one where a guy used to cheat on his wife with his best friend. Neither of them are gay, but in VR they happen to play a fighting game together, and one of them plays a female character, and then they're like, hey, you know what, let's, get busy. But it doesn't, it's sort of got all the setup for an interesting exploration of, relationship and identity and technology, but it kind of doesn't go anywhere with it. I felt the same way about the 3rd episode in the season, which happens to feature Miley Cyrus in her first acting role.
Not first acting role. She's been in other things.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, apart from I suppose she was in the TV show then, yeah, wasn't she? I'm not sure where I saw that then, about it being a first acting role.
Oh, maybe after a while, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe in a while, because she had that bit where she went all punk and all of that, which the episode sort of mirrored that. So that episode's about a pop singer getting put into a coma by a manipulative agent who then uses AI to create a virtual version of her to continue raking in money. Like, she was starting to, move away from stardom. She didn't want to be famous anymore. And all of that. And it actually ends with her getting rescued and going punk.
It's like art imitating life.
Yeah, I feel like, that was another one good setup for the technology. If you can replace an artist with technology, what value is the art? What value is the artist as well? But my favorite episode this season was Smithereens, which is about a guy taking a tech company worker hostage. He works for a social media company like Facebook or Twitter, and takes him hostage and wants to speak to the CEO so he can make his demands or so on. So he has to deal with the police, but while the police are trying to talk him down, the company are looking up his account and breaking into his account to read all these messages and stuff, and use that to build a profile of him that's more accurate than what the police and the FBI have. And again, it set it up and didn't use it as well. I think it did use it the best out of the episodes, but it kind of set up this, who are these tech companies? They have so much power. They know everything about. A few years ago, there was a saying, Google knows more about you than your wife. But,
I heard that line before. That was scary.
Yeah. So, these companies can know everything about you, and acting as their own sort of arm of the law, the police and the FBI are talking to this company, and the company's, going around them and interceding in ways that the law enforcement aren't happy with, because they're trying to stop, make sure no one gets hurt. But so what jurisdiction does a tech company have on a hostage situation? And if this happened again in real life, would police start going to the tech companies for advice? I know after the San Bernardino shooting, the police went to Apple and said, can you unlock this phone for us so we can get evidence?
Oh, yeah, and Apple said no, and oh, man, that was a big court battle. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a big court battle over that. And it's kind of like, what does the company have the right to release them? Should they breach your privacy to work with the police?
Kind of like the whole doctor-patient confidentiality argument, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I can kind of see where you're getting that for.
Yeah.
So,
what's the biggest flaw you've encountered in those episodes?
Just that they set up an interesting scenario but don't go anywhere with it. Like, I didn't come away feeling like I, had a new appreciation for the technology like I do after a lot of other episodes. So, one of my favorite episodes, White Christmas, they make a complete copy of your brain and then interrogate that instead of interrogating you, so that if the interrogation goes wrong or whatever, they can just, reset you and start again. And that ties into another episode, Black Museum, where a character is has a copy of his brain uploaded and tortured over and over again for people's entertainment. And, I came away with this sort of, that's obviously far in the future, but, about the ethics of that. Or one of my other favorite episodes, Be Right Back. A character dies in a car accident and his fiance or wife or whoever signs up for a service that analyzes his social media posts and creates an AI based on him.
It sounds like the start of every Japanese anime.
Yeah, so, it's obviously not the real husband, but, does it matter? How does a person interact with that? How does it affect their grief? It's that sort of thing is what I watch Black Mirror for, and I don't feel like I got a lot of that in this season. I still rate it 3 out of 5 because it's still, good, but it's not great. And I wonder if maybe Charlie Brooker is running out of ideas, which, understandable. It's been 5 seasons and a movie, and it's hard to make hard for every episode to hit like that. But then again, this is the shortest season, and it's the only season where none of the episodes have really hit me like that.
It's hard to stay consistent when you go that long. It's hard, yeah.
And eventually you run out of things you can make a social commentary on without repeating yourself.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing, DJ?
I've been reading the 2nd chapter of BRZRKR, and man, what a chapter! So the second chapter is basically him talking about his past. He's talking about how he was created, basically. And so the backstory is basically he's part of a tribe that was getting constantly pillaged and robbed, and a couple of people getting murdered. So one couple have decided, we need to fight back. We need to create a weapon. So they decide to do it by going into a ritual. And the ritual includes, I kid you not, her having sex with lightning.
Okay.
I kid you not, that's what happened. It's like she just had so she just got on the ritual where she just basically had sex with lightning. And it got to the point, and so when the child was born, he just basically destroyed people from the get-go. At one point, so they sent him to a teacher to focus his energy on create to a useful outlet, but he killed the teacher. But yeah, so the climax comes to the boy facing a tribe of marauders, and he just basically destroyed them in very graphic fashion. I think I killed the professor.
No, I'm just thinking about that. So is it like gory?
Oh yeah. It makes Quentin Tarantino's gory films look like a Saturday Kids cartoon show.
And is it still basically just Keanu Reeves self-insert fan fiction?
Yeah. In terms of pacing and the fight scenes and stuff, yeah, it does have that John Wick feel kind of thing. Like, yeah, like it's just quick, violent, and extremely bloody. I mean, the pacing of it has been interesting. Like every now and then, like in the middle of the story, there'll be him chatting with the psychologist, and the psychologist goes like, "Oh, we need to get you some samples, and we're grateful that you're doing this for us," kind of thing. And Keanu Reeves is, Keanu Reeves self-insert goes, for centuries, you've been measuring me, taking samples, analyzing me, poking me, scanning me. I've been struck 1,000 times.
Does he have a name?
I don't think he has a name, no. I think it's
Keanu Reeves. There we go.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah, man. I mean, if you love the mindless blood splatter and Keanu Reeves and crazy ways of how to create life, then chapter 2 is the one thing to go with.
Is it breathtaking?
Yes, but not breathtaking as in watching Avatar, the movie, not watching James Cameron's Avatar breathtaking.
Okay.
I would give this one 4.5 lightnings out of 5. I mean, 4.5 out of 5. Nerdy beaties, that is. Man, that lightning. So,
Einstein has a thought experiment about riding a lightning beam, but that's a bit different.
So,
Sorry,
onto
not a
our...
lightning beam, a light beam.
Oh,
beam.
nice.
That's up my words now.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So, onto our shout outs. So, on the 27th of April, people named Josh met in a park in Lincoln, Nebraska to do battle for the right to their name. It started last year when Josh Swain from Arizona messaged all the Josh Swains he could find to battle him. Only 2 Josh Swains turned up, but the Arizona Swain won the rock, paper, scissor battle against Omaha Swain. The rest of the Joshes began fighting it with pool noodles, with a 4-year-old Josh Swain winning and being named Little Josh, king of the Joshes.
Little Josh isn't a Josh Swain.
Oh.
He's just a Josh. So the original battle was between the Josh Swains, but then it was a free-for-all for all Joshes.
He was awarded a Burger King crown, a champion's belt, and a trophy. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I hope, it's a hell of a lot of fun, but I hope it doesn't become a spreader event.
Hey,
we could wipe out the entire population of Josh's US in, just a few weeks.
Hey, can you imagine the professors?
Actually, I did get added to a group chat once called The University, and it was all people with usernames of Professor.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How did that pan
out? No one ever actually really said anything there, so...
Oh, that sucks. Oh, can you imagine DJs? Oh, that'd be like me having a rock, paper, scissors battle with David Guetta. Or some cringy DJ name. Go like, who are you? I'm the DJ. I know I am the DJ.
Well, surely you'd have to have like a spin battle or something, like the turntables and.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that infamous Spartacus scene. It's like, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. It's like, who's Josh? I'm the Josh. No, I'm the Josh. No, I am the Josh.
I'm Josh, and so's my wife.
Oh, this will be funny as heck. But moving along. So, Australia remembered the Port Arthur massacre on the 28th of April. This year was the 25th anniversary of a gunman killing 35 people, mostly at the site of the former Port Arthur penal colony. 12 days later, the National Firearms Agreement came into effect, restricting ownership of automatic and semi-automatic guns and bringing new restrictions to obtaining a gun license. Over 1 million guns were returned and destroyed in an amnesty scheme. This was the last mass shooting involving the general public on such a scale in Australia, which now has half the overall gun ownership of the time following the attack. On a happier note, on the same day, a black rhino calf was revealed to the public at the Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo. Sabi is 7 weeks old and weighs 112 kilos. She was named after a flower from Zimbabwe which blooms after droughts. There are an estimated 6,000 wild black rhinos, which is listed as critically endangered. Aww.
And it's adorable.
I know.
I wouldn't want it like jumping on my lap like a puppy, but it's adorable.
I can imagine when it jumps on your lap, you just go, oh, my thigh bone.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could make a good guard dog.
Oh, when they're adults, they get rather unfriendly in some cases. So
yeah, but it'd be one heck of a way to get your house guarded from anything.
Yeah, 2-ton guard dog.
On the 29th, China launched the Tianhe module on the Long March 5B rocket. Long March 5B is China's largest carrier rocket. The module holds living quarters for 3 crew and will be part of the first permanent Chinese space station scheduled to be completed by the end of 2022. The USA vetoed China's involvement in the ISS, which led to China's individual space exploration efforts. Tianhe means harmony of the heavens and joins China's successful unmanned missions, which have been focused on lunar exploration. It kind of feels like China say, "Oh, no room for China, huh? Well, fine. We'll make our own space station with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, that's basically how it went.
So, on to our remembrances. On the 28th of April 1994, Burton Roach committed suicide. Born Clarence Burton Roach Jr., he was an American medical writer who wrote for The New Yorker for almost 50 years. He wrote 20 books, including 11 Blue Men, The Incurable Wound, Feral, and The Medical Detectives. His work inspired the film Bigger Than Life and the show House. His books and articles are famous detective and mystery stories based on identifying rare diseases and medical conditions, but he also wrote some suspense novels. He committed suicide 5 years after being diagnosed with emphysema. His wife said that he has been depressed. Yeah, that's a tragic way to go.
Yeah, he's a great writer too. Medical Detectives is just like genuinely a good read.
Yeah. Got any favorite chapters?
Not off the top of my head. Might be time for a reread.
Yeah. Onto our birthdays. On the same day in 1916, a famous tractor maker was born. Ferruccio Lamborghini founded his tractor company, Lamborghini Trattori, in 1948, but founded Automobili Lamborghini in 1963 after having negative experiences with Ferrari's after-sales support and build quality, citing frequent repairs, poor clutches, and secretive mechanics. He was also able to make triple profits selling high-performance cars with the same components from his tractor business. He was born in Cento Ferrari, Emilia Romagna.
I feel like he butchered every one of the Italian words in that.
Yes.
I've got to wonder though, so he basically complained that, he'd take his Ferrari up to the mechanics and they'd take it away and do what they do and back. I wonder how he felt about right to repair.
I think he would be like, yes, do it, damn it, do it. And I like how he tried to tell all of this to Enzo Ferrari, but then was dismissed by saying he was a notoriously pride-filled Medinan. I'm like, damn, that's one way to say. That's one way of kicking back advice.
No, so Ferrari was the pride-filled guy.
Oh.
Lamborghini was like, hey, Ferrari, want some advice? And Ferrari's like, no, get lost. So Lamborghini was like, right, I'm going to go and make my own cars and I'm going to do it better.
Oh, man. So on to our events of interest. On the 28th of April 1958, The Vampire was released in Sweden. Dr. Matthew Campbell invents pills to help with the human mind, but instead he becomes extremely addicted to them. He stops taking them and tries to warn his friend Dr. Paul Beecher about the pills, but dies before he can. Dr. Beecher accidentally ingests some of these pills, and unbeknownst to him, they're turning him into a dangerous fanged creature. The Vampire happened to mirror the 1956 film The Werewolf, both presenting sci-fi versions of famous supernatural creatures, but both films were produced by different companies. The director liked the name Dr. Paul Beecher so much, he used it again in his unrelated vampire film, The Return of Dracula. Man, talk about loving a name so much.
Yeah. I wonder if he was, I've never seen these movies, but I wonder if he was, implying a connection there.
I doubt it, though, but it'd be pretty funny if he did.
Yeah.
And on the same day in 1988, Clarabelle CB Lansing was blown out of Aloha Airlines Flight 243 when the fuselage tore apart mid-flight. Despite the catastrophic damage, Clarabelle was the only fatality. She had been standing in the area of the damage when the fuselage tore open, while the other attendants were in other parts of the aircraft and passengers were belted in. Fortunately, the lower half of the fuselage held together long enough for the aircraft to land safely in Maui. Oh man, I would hate to be in that scenario.
Yeah, it must have been pretty hair-raising. As I understand it, they couldn't be sure that the wheels had come down properly, so they had to do a flyby on the airport, but they didn't want to do a flyby because if the turning around could rip the plane in half.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible they actually managed to pull off that landing, though, and that the rest of the plane didn't break in half during the flight.
Yeah, I remember I was looking at it, and they said it was interesting. The captain felt the aircraft roll to the left and right, and the controllers went loose. the first officer noticed pieces of grey insulation floating above the cabin. The cockpit door had broken away, and the captain could see blue sky where the first class ceiling had been.
Yeah, not a great place to see the sky. So imagine how much worse it would have been if it was raining.
Oh, no.
Like, they were already getting hypothermia from being at altitude, but it could have been so much worse.
Oh, even worse. Imagine if there was a lightning storm with that rain.
Ooh, there's actually a really good article you should. The Man Who Rode the Thunder, I think. It's about a pilot who had to bail out into a thunderstorm.
Oh, man.
And the updrafts caught his parachute and carried him along for hours, I think.
Okay. So, that's all we have for today. Where can they find us, Professor?
I don't know, this is your bit. Twitter at Namalgamated, Facebook, Nerds Amalgamated, anywhere you get podcasts. Have I missed anything?
They can find us on Instagram. They can also find us on that'snotcanon.com, where we have an archive of our old episodes. And they can also find us some new That's Not Canon podcasts, such as African Storytelling. It's by, I'm going to butcher this name so badly, Lieni Marie Daini, who's brought her super charming storytelling podcast, Giraffe Eggs and Other African Tales. And it's basically recalling African legends, myths, folk, and fairy tales, both in English and in French. Ooh.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. And they can also find us on YouTube. Even though we have one video, we'll be making some more YouTube content as soon as we can. But anyways, that's all I have for this week. It's time for me to go away now.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.